Welcome to Ntn Nightly. I am Janelle Norville. This edition's top stories. The national fight against COVID-19 is gaining ground with an uptake in vaccines. The Government of Saint Lucia makes good on its promise to improve patient care at the Respiratory Hospital. And celebrating 70 years of Universal Adult Suffrage. The national fight against COVID-19 is gaining ground. Saint Lucia has registered significant progress in the vaccination drive, with 36,253 people now fully vaccinated against the coronavirus. 30,188 have received their full dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine, while 6,065 individuals have received both doses of the Pfizer vaccine. This means that 20% of the population has been inoculated. National Immunization Manager in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs, Tekla Baptiste, says whilst this seems far away from the desired 70% population immunity, it is a step closer to achieving the overall goal. This week, the ministry also reported a reduction in hospitalization rates, positivity rates and prevalence rates. There has been a steady decline in the rate of transmission with a present rate of 1.3. Health officials are, however, urging that the public not let their guard down as the situation remains critical.
Over the past weeks, we note a tendency towards a decrease in the reported cases. However, we should not become complacent. We note that there are still variants of concern circulating in country, and as a result, the possibility of another spike exists if we become too relaxed. Therefore, we urge each and every one to continue adhering to the public health measures and get vaccinated.
The Ministry of Health continues to note a higher percentage of hospitalizations and deaths in the unvaccinated. There has been an increase in severe cases, admissions and deaths from the southwestern zone of the country, which also corresponds to the areas of low vaccination uptake.
In light of this, we encourage you to get vaccinated for the added protection from the COVID-19 virus. The benefits of the vaccine greatly outweigh the potential side effects associated with the vaccine. The possibility of serious complications for anyone who gets the virus should be a reason for getting the vaccine. Indeed, it is difficult to predict how COVID-19 will affect any individual, and so the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs stands behind its official recommendation that every citizen gets vaccinated for COVID-19. Over the past 19 months, we have reported 224 deaths. Each life lost was someone dear to one of us: a mother, father, sister, brother, friend, workmate, or someone whom we knew. COVID-19 is real.
Ms. Jabati stressed that COVID-19 vaccines combined with the public health recommendations provide the best protection from COVID-19. Meantime, the government has made good on a promise to improve not only conditions at the Respiratory Hospital, but also patient care. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs has launched a Patient Welfare Assistance Program. More from Homer DeMark.
The Government of Saint Lucia has launched the Patient Welfare Assistant Program at the Respiratory Hospital. The start of the program signals the installment of welfare assistant officers at the island's primary COVID-19 care facility. Nancy Francis, Executive Director of the hospital, highlighted the role of the new staff contingent.
Ensure that all patient supplies are delivered to patients within 10 minutes of delivery on the ward. Sign off on the verification log for all drop-off items and receipts by patients. Serve as a liaison for the nursing team for essential supplies such as medical gas, linen, and food. Attend to the ancillary needs of patients such as personal grooming, feeding, and general hygiene. Communicate patient needs or observations to the nurse. assist with bed environment management, advocate for the patient's needs, and inform the next of kin of critical items, for example, additional personal items, food items. Engage patients with special needs, such as breathing exercises, prayers, and approved social interactions, as may be assigned by the clinical team.
Prime Minister of Saint Lucia, Honorable Philip J. Pierce, said the program was conceptualized from a need to provide patients and staff of the Respiratory Hospital with additional support. Honorable Philip J. Pierre encouraged the welfare assistant officers to work diligently to ensure the comfort of the patients they serve.
And I want you, as you take care of these people, I want you to understand that what you're doing is really a labor of love. You're not doing it for any money, because you are the bridge between these people and possibly a simple thing, something that you would take for granted, something that would mean nothing to you. Possibly the bridge between that person, their relative would bring a fruit for them or a glass of juice, and you take it from there and get it to them in a timely manner. What that would mean to that person in isolation for 24 hours. That's what I want you to think about when you are doing that job. Think about the joy that you bring to these people in isolation.
Minister for Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs, Honorable Moses Jabatis, speaking on the pertinence of the program, said it is one that is needed at other medical institutions on island.
I want to say to you that this kind of support should be throughout the health sector. And we are hoping that the idea is to give patients a wonderful feeling, if there is such a term, when you are sick. So if a patient, from the time the patient approaches the hospital, whether it is St. Jude Hospital, Supra Hospital, from the time you get off the bus or you get off the car, you should begin to feel that you will be cared for, even though you are very sick. You should begin to feel that you're cared for and that this place will take care of you.
The Patient Welfare Assistant Program forms part of the Government of Saint Lucia's latest efforts to improve the quality of Saint Lucia's healthcare sector. From the Government Information Service, Humadi Mark reporting.
Several recommendations geared towards better positioning the agriculture industry for economic benefits and opportunities have come out of the discussions held in observance of Productivity Awareness Week. On the 12th of October, a panel of industry stakeholders dissected the issue. Here's Ross Daniel.
Tuesday's discussion was geared towards identifying a clear path towards the rejuvenation of St. Lucia's agriculture sector. The dialogue was open and frank as the panelists dived into the realm of the agriculture industry, touching on varying topics such as food security, nutrition, and the ever-growing food import bill, to name a few. Perishables manager at Massey Stores St. Lucia, Dunstan DeMille, speaking from his perspective, noted that many challenges continue to plague the agriculture sector, particularly as it relates to food production.
Farm labor is one of the biggest issues we face now. I don't know if we are aware of that. Also, we have a number of challenges when it comes to getting timely inputs, because when the farmers need a product to nourish their plants or whatnot and they don't have it, all that affects production. We had a number of crop failures. I mean, in the Babono area, although we get a lot of rain, but I'm sure you will appreciate from about May to November, we have a retarded growth of plants in that area in terms of a lot of the leafy vegetables. And that too is reflected at our stores. We also have a number of post-harvest challenges, because with pretty elasticity being as it is now, you find a lot of persons trying to harvest before the thieves come and steal the product. So sometimes the maturity stage is not optimum for the market.
Chief Extension Officer in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Food Security and Rural Development, Kemuel Jean-Baptiste, explained that in order to increase the agriculture sector's GDP contribution, increased strategic thinking, planning, partnerships and investments are necessary.
Agricultural development cannot be divorced from all the other developments. there's one truth about agriculture that has to be recognized at the highest policy making level, and that is about the amount of land space that is required for production. You have export, you have agro-processing, and a number of investments opportunities that come off of agriculture, as they would say, backward and forward linkages. But all of these are hinged on the ability of the country to produce the primary products that are required. We need to start strategically looking at what available lands we have for agriculture, and to ensure that policies are set out that dictate that these lands remain for agricultural production now and into the future and for posterity. When we are able to do that, then we need to look at what sort of strategic investments that we are going to make. We've had support from Sustainable Development Department, for example, in developing a national adaptation plan. Climate change is for real. The reality of it and its impacts on agriculture is for real. And we need to ensure that agriculture is well prepared.
The Chief Extension Officer added that international organizations such as the Global Environment Facility GEF, Small Grants Program, United States Development Program UNDP have been lending support, making significant investments in St. Lucia's agriculture sector. Chief Nutritionist in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs highlighted the linkages between health and agriculture.
To be food and nutrition secure is to ensure that our people are healthy. Are we secure here? Food and nutrition security, there is a bit of a difference. Food security entails that we have adequate calories for everybody in a country that is sufficient, that they can live their active lives. Nutrition security takes it a step further, where the food that is produced must ensure that this food is nutritious. Food security can ensure that we get adequate calories, but doesn't speak to nutrition. Nutrition security ensures that we are getting the nutrients that we need so that we can live healthy and active lives. Now, do we have adequate food and nutrition security in St. Lucia to ensure that? If we did, our health status would be different. And so there is a very strong link between agriculture and nutrition.
The discussion sought to answer the question, how should agriculture be repositioned to fill more space in St. Lucia's economic basket, and forms part of the activities being held as part of Productivity Awareness Week 2021.
St. Lucia on Tuesday, 12 October 2021, celebrated 70 years of Universal Adult Suffrage. Adult suffrage resulted in all adult citizens being allowed to exercise their franchise regardless of wealth, gender, social status, ethnicity, political stance, or any other restrictions, subject only to relatively minor exceptions. The 1951 general election, which took place on Friday, October 12, was held under this new constitution. Olympia Lionel is the Assistant Chief Elections Officer in the Electoral Department.
Universal Adult Suffrage was significant because it established that every citizen of St. Lucia, 21 years of age and latter reduced to 18 years of age or older, has the right to vote in all national elections. That is to say, persons were able to exercise their franchise only at the age of 21. Again, the qualification for registration at the time, persons, you were able to read and write, and you needed to have an income of $30 per year. And majority of those persons would be English speaking, or they speak Patois as well. During that period, registration, you had 8 electoral districts in the places of Castries Town, Castries North, Castries South, Roseau, Ancillary, Soufrière, Choiseul, Saltibus, Beaufort, and Denry Micoud.
Some 22 candidates contested the Legislative Council elections, with 2 main parties being the St. Lucia Labour Party and the People Progressive Party, alongside independent Labour candidates and independent candidates. The St. Lucia Labour Party amassed a total of 6,799 votes, the People Progressive Party 3,645 votes, and the Independent 5,275 votes, amounting to some 15,719 votes.
Also, we began with 8 electoral districts in 1951. The numbers of the district was increased to 10 and 17 districts in 1961 and in 1979, respectively. After the general election of 2011, with talks of making the division smaller in terms of the Grozile district, Kasri South, and Babuno. Today, electoral department voters list has grown to a total of 172,217 electors. And a lot of things have changed. As an elector, your qualification for registration, once you reach the age of 18, and you can come with your birth certificate and a letter from NIC, you would be qualified for registration to be registered at the electoral department.
Assistant Chief Elections Officer in the Electoral Department, Olympia Lionel. This is Ntn Nightly. Primus Hutchinson is up next. Stay with us.
C'est l'année 2019 et puis l'année 2020. Le gouvernement passe des lois pour régler cette pratique qui a concerné la santé publique. Première, changement loi contre les femmes. Deuxième loi, c'était pour empêcher les femmes en pièces, place publique, telles que cabaret, bar, restaurant, lance, abord transport public, abord taxi, et puis en pièces place réservées pour moun batché et puis débatché, n'importe quel transport. C'est obligation nous toutes pour connaître et puis respecter ces lois pour assurer santé nous et puis protéger nous contre toi. Si la loi soit coupable, et bien pièce business coupable agit contre des lois la loi a ordonné payer à la main $5,000 pour moun qui n'y agit personnellement et puis $10,000 pour pièce business. C'est pour nous changer qui en temps maladie COVID-19 qui nous fait nous-mêmes et bien mettez nous en situation pour nous septembre, c'est l'habitude qui dangereux pour santé nous. À nous toutes décider pour faire génération une génération sans fumée.
This is a message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness supported by Powell on this station.
Welcome back. We join Primus Hutchinson for the Ntn Nouvelle à Creole.
Merci autant, Chanel. Merci, mesdames. Département qui a une responsabilité pour information en gouvernement Saint Lucia, ça c'est GIS. Ensemble avec télévision nationale PA NTN, Caposato Nouvelle à Creole. Président Primus Hutchinson. Les officiers de santé à l'hôpital Victoria ont une meilleure position pour poursuivre meilleurs services pour les gens qui sont malades. Pendant la famille gens qui sont malades à l'hôpital Victoria, à présent, quand ça trouve information plus vite concernant la famille, gens qui sont à l'hôpital là pour traitement. Ça c'est en bas un programme des assistances pour les gens qui sont à l'hôpital Victoria. Ça c'est parce que le gouvernement a établi un set de monde pour assister ces noces avec docteurs, alors qu'il fait responsabilité plus légère pour ménager. Le ministre des Affaires santé a fait les plus grands citoyens, honorable Moses Jean-Baptiste, dit que ça c'est une initiative qui est très significative et qui a branché grande distance et grande faute là qui a existé présentement entre l'hôpital là avec les officiers de santé et la famille moun qui a trouvé traitement.
Nous avons des difficultés côté chaque famille qui a dit yo délai yo ka couiller que pas ça joindre ces moun ou ben yo mener en bagaille avec yo même ka dit nous yo savent c'est parce que nous pas ni assez docteur avec assez nurse avec ces nurse là avec docteur ba chaque pressure comme ça est difficile pour un nurse là avec un patient avec pour nurse là quitter patient là venir dehors amasser biscuit ou ben fruitage mango des fois ba comme ça avec pour mener dedans. Et quand tu es malade COVID-19 avec quand tu es malade respiration, c'est malade on est pour ni moun presque tout là avec ces patients là. Comme ça Premier ministre là c'est un monde qui concerné à ces bagages ça là. Avec nous tenir discussion avec il dit nous ni pour faire un bail comme ça. Et nous avons commencé Victoria mais nous l'hôpital Victoria mais nous avons ici mais à l'autre hôpital à pays Saint Lucie.
Selon le ministre de la Santé Jean-Baptiste, attention, c'est pour essayer de faire plus facile et pour porter soulagement pour ces docteurs, nurses et les gens qui sont malades, pas seulement à l'hôpital Victoria, mais aussi pour toute l'autre institution de santé à Saint-Lucie.
Parce que les gens malades, yo la pa koyo, che yo ka fait yo mal, yo ka matche famille yo. Avec nous ni l'idée qualité assistance ça là important pour moun vin plus mais avec vin plus bien. Comme ça nous ka commencer Victoria avec ces leçons nous apprendre Victoria quand aider nous pour faire programme ça là plus mais là nous mettez à l'hôpital.
Chef pour programme national Saint-Lucie pour ménager et protéger moun pays contre maladie, sur toute maladie, c'est notre texte Baptiste, déclaré que comme vous appréciez que la réduction en cas de maladie corona en ces semaines qui passent, ça ne veut pas dire la pacaille n'y a haussement encore côté l'imoa, ça c'est une maladie qui est vitement point en montant encore. Notre Baptiste a continué pour plaider avec le public là pour aller prendre la vaccine. Aussi, il a annoncé que Saint-Lucie a touché 20% en limo moun qui a trouvé toute dose de la vaccine depuis lundi le 11 octobre 2021. Et ça veut dire 36 253 peuples Saint-Lucie a trouvé toutes les doses de la vaccine contre la maladie corona. Donc je vais faire comprendre, même si limo ça là loin 70% de population qui est très significant, mais ça rapporte pays à plus près les mots que les officiers de santé ont gardé. Selon notre Baptiste, le ministère de santé a continué pour enregistrer une grande quantité de monde qui a entré l'hôpital et qui a trouvé la mort parce qu'il n'y a pas encore de point la vaccine. Par conséquent de ça, notre Baptiste a encouragé les gens pour prendre la vaccine pour une plus protection contre le corona. Il dit aussi bénéfice de la vaccine plus haut que problème yon peut espérer si yon point dose de la vaccine. Grand chef pour autorité pour contrôle toute affaire développement en Saint-Lucie, M. Ignatius Jean, renforcé point que l'institution National Trust, c'est yon qui concerne pour toute affaire de préservation héritage pays Saint-Lucie. Selon M. Jean, les yon a considéré divers articles qui gagnent avec l'autre en siècle l'année qui était derrière pour nous préserver belleté, bord de la mer et l'environnement, c'était la rivière. Nous avons parmi plusieurs autres héritages. C'est la responsabilité du National Trust. Alors, Jean fait comprendre, il y a une autorité unie assurée que le développement qui a un coût à cette liste supposé fait en accordance et puis préservation et protection héritage pays là.
Mais nous ne sommes pas d'accord sur tout le bagage. Mais on y voit que nous ni pour Congo, nous ni pour Tanio, nous ni pour tant l'autre côté. C'est même ces gens qui ont fait investissement, ils ont venir ici, nous ni pour bailler une chance pour assis devant nous et présenter ça, ils voulaient faire, et nous avons gardé et dit, ou ça fait ça, et bien, ou pas ça fait ça, et bien, mais c'est ces manières ça là, nous avons dit pour aller faire, ok? Et puis c'est quelle manière ça là, nous voulons aller devant, et pour faire plus facile pour nous ça faire investissement. Qui ou ces gens Saint-Lucie, ou ces gens de l'autre pays, nous n'y pour ça c'est doit nous tout bloc qui a fait tout concret ciment qui nous pour vendre. Il a dépend sur d'ici pour faire décision pour faire ces bagages ça la fait. Et nous voulons travailler, nous voulons mon travail Saint-Lucie. Le gouvernement ni pour jouer une manière pour couiller pays et c'est là que ça fait taxe. Pour yo ça payer travail gouvernement et pour yo ça faire l'autre développement. So alors nous avons un travail qui est très important et que nous avons point ça même manière important pour nous parler puis peuple. Et c'est manière ça nous allons aller.
Avec monsieur mesdames, ça c'est côté nous en bout nouvelle nous pour aujourd'hui. Moi quand monsieur autant pour garder, moi quand une invitation pour jeune puis moi encore, c'est dire conserver la vie dans une poste l'autre nouvelle. Après ça, on va présenter au général.
Merci, Apple Primus. We now take a look at the weather.
Forecast for St. Lucia, valid for the next 24 hours. It's partly cloudy and hazy, becoming cloudy at times with a few scattered showers. Saharan dust will continue to cause a reduction in visibility and air quality over St. Lucia and the Eastern Caribbean region over the next couple of days. Persons with respiratory ailments and dust allergies are advised to take the necessary precautions. Seas Moderate to locally rough with waves and northerly swells 5 to 7 feet or 1.5 to 2.1 meters. Small craft operators and sea bathers are advised to exercise caution due to reduced visibility and above normal seas. Moist and unstable conditions over the northern and extreme southern portions of the region will cause occasional cloudiness, showers and isolated thunderstorms over the northern and extreme southern portions of the Lesser Antilles during the forecast period. Two tropical waves located over the central and eastern tropical Atlantic are moving westward near 17 miles per hour or 28 kilometers per hour.
That brings us to the end of Ntn Nightly. Join us next time at 7 p.m. with a repeat at 7 a.m. You can also catch up with us anytime on the St. Lucia Government Facebook page or YouTube channel. I am Janelle Norvell.